It's the lie of the Pfizer. Boom, boom, boom. The lie of the Pfizer. Boom, boom, boom. All right, see if I'm on Rumble here. Oh boy. All right, looks like we are good to go. Hey, what's going on, Big George? Gary? Jeepa? Del Monton? Are you back? No, it's not that cold. Can y'all hear me okay? It's not that cold. All right. My wife, she's knucklehead. That's why we love her. It's the lie of the Pfizer. George, just FYI, West Virginia is one of the top places. They're the pan. Did I already say this in the video? West Virginia is one of the top places where they're recruiting people to move to in retirement, or it doesn't have to be retirement, but people to move to. Anyway, did I do that in my other video? I think I did, didn't I? I can't remember. But anyway, West Virginia crushes. But freaking Stucky Up McGucky over here, my wife, she'll never move to West Virginia. I love West Virginia, man. West Virginia freaking rocks. There's Michael Schmeling, right on. All right, cool. We got Annette, still in North Padre Island. Salute. Displaced Hoosier apparently is not in Indiana anymore. Any wife? Yeah, right. She won't go to West Virginia. Nope. Yeah, she's like, West Virginia. Like, dude, gotta get over your bias when you're growing up from, freaking. She was born in '74, from the '70s and '80s. And I was like looking at her. I'm like, where you come from, sister? You had 11 people in 3 bedrooms. What are you talking about? Jeez, and cats peed on their clothes, and she had to share a room with 2 of her sisters, and it's like, what do you do? What's all this? Where's this cockiness come from? That's the point why. Actually, I'm going to show you a couple of books here real quick, and I'm going to go into Right Capital because I got a stupid HOA meeting here at a little bit, and I'm on the HOA for some ungodly reason. I wish I would not. I'm never buying a house another HOA. I can tell you that right now. Right here. So we got the. I got to get this Irish, whatever the hell this thing is called, from my wife's dad when he died. Let me get that out of the way. Oops, I can put that down there. The Black Jacobins by C.L.R. James. And he talks about it's literally identical. I'm telling you, the Black Jacobins, the first and only successful slave revolt that ever really happened, that was in Haiti. And we go, my man Philip Lay, who had written this, The Southern Reconstruction. These 2 books are part and the parcel identical. What they do is they try to get the lower classes, the poor people, at odds. So the poor people don't stand up against the friggin' the cavaliers. And when I say cavalier, I don't mean like a cavalier, like, oh, he's a risk taker. No, like the aristocrats. And what they do is they can divide you on race, they can divide you on income, but the issue is they always want someone underneath you. You see what I'm saying? They always want someone under. Hey, why can I see it on Rumble now? Yo. And people don't want to be the bottom. So what they did with the whites, the poor whites, is say, look, you don't want to be on the bottom of the thing, so you should be angry at those blacks because they're trying to come up. And but there are some rich blacks who agree with that. They say, yeah, you don't want. You see what I'm saying? That's what happened in the Haiti revolt. The mulattoes, and they had poor whites and from France and stuff, and they said, no, you don't want to be part of this. Because then you'll be thrown in with the blacks, the slaves at that point, and the slaves that were granted the freedom in the South. It's such a dude. It's so dastardly. These guys are so good, and yet we fall for it. We fall for it. And when I say we, it's whites are the dominant race in the United States since our inception. Not in the South, by the way, I'll tell you that. But the whites, we fall for it because we're like, I don't want to be lower than the blacks. And it's like, no, man, no, but we're falling for stupidity. Anyway, so the point being is, then you got these poor whites that say, I don't want to be like, my wife is a poor white, white trash from freaking Virginia, but, she don't want to be like those poor white trash from West Virginia, if that makes sense. And then you got, poor white trash in Massachusetts. They're like looking down on Mainers. I don't want to be like, you see what I'm saying? It's crazy. Crazy what these guys can do. It's nuts how they can separate people. All right, so we got a couple people on Rumble. All right, sweet. All right. Hey, look at this guy. That's not a replay. All right, so my man, 16-year-old made $18,000 a year in the state of Nevada. Is it possible to get the money back in return? Yeah. File 1040 EZ return due. Absolutely. Absolutely. File 1040 EZ. You know, your standard deduction is about 13,000 bucks or something like that. So whatever they withheld, you'll get a portion of that back. Dude, I tell you, when I was in high school, I used to do tax returns for a lot of the some of the black guys I knew I used to work with in my where I used to work at Chesapeake Crab Factory or something I can't remember. And I'd charge them 10%. It probably wasn't legal. I don't care. But I say, dude, I remember this one guy named Tokes. And I said, Tokes, give me your tax returns. I'll do it. He goes, what? I said, just give me 10% of whatever I can get for you. He goes, is it legal? I said, yeah, absolutely. Because I knew my mom was an accountant and she wasn't CPA, but she goes, look, the standard deduction is higher than your income. You'll get that money. You won't get the Social Security tax back, but you'll get your withheld taxes because they have to withhold. Your employer's got to withhold from your W-4 unless you tell them otherwise. And I said, so I remember I said, hey, man, you're getting 100, $200 back. That's $20 for me. It took me about 10 minutes to do. I got $20 for 10 minutes of work. I probably did 4 or 5 tax returns a year for a couple of years. It's easy money, man. Easy money. Anyway, so my man there is that's rock and rolling. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. So that's easy money. Hyper Munoz. All right. HOA, yeah, right on. Well, that's the thing. Not only with the HOA, the condo association fees just go up and up and up. Crazy. Are you taking retirement review clients for a fee again? Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. 100%. You got it, Hyper. Hope you do it, dude. Just 1040 easy, man. Go on TurboTax 1040 easy and you're good to go. Absolutely. All right. All right. So George's been modeling. Good stuff, man. Carl says, tell my wife emotions are a useful servant, but a terrible master. Yeah, she's not moving on. Like she's not. Hey, Jeremy's here. All right, Jeremy's here, so we can all get started. She's not moving to West Virginia, man. It ain't happening. That's okay. All right, so let's go on a right cap. This is gonna be fun. Do I have anything else off the top? No, I'm just gonna hit right cap. Oh, I am gonna repost. So I was able to figure out how to cut the David Blanchett video. YouTube actually now makes it. It's probably been there for a while. We can just cut a half of the video off. And anyway, so I didn't know you could do that. So I'm gonna repost the David Blanchett interview all over the place. So if you missed last week's live stream, I'm gonna repost it here today. In fact, I got it right now, probably just when we're done. So just FYI, because Blanchett, and again, as I talked after we go off the stream, I don't subscribe to some of the things he does in terms of, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's but let's see, we have 10% disagreement, 90% agreement. Doesn't mean we have to hate each other. And Blanchett just crushes, man. He's got 4 kids. Any guy who's got 4 kids and is with his wife of his 4 kids kicks freaking ass, dude. Any man in this society who's got 4 kids kicks ass. All right. So you're out there, my man. You know what I'm saying? You know who was talking about, who I went to dinner with the other night. He's crushing. Blanchett's crushing. I think even Kitsis has 3 kids. He might have 4 by now. Michael Kitsis. I'll never forget. Friggin' pissed me off to stick up these guys' asses. Not Kitsis, but he was doing a podcast with somebody, and one of his kids was crying a little bit in the background. And some guy said, "That's not very professional, Kitsis, to have to hear your kids." Dude, I would have freaking. I said, man, I freaking wanted to just hearing that crap. It was a professional financial advisor. And I'm like, dude, you got to stick so far up your butt. You can't even see freaking, man, when you poop, you got to sit 6 feet above the toilet. That's how far that stick is up your butt. I couldn't believe it. I said, man, the sound of children, that's a sound we all love. In fact, my man, Kevin, I was talking about, and I did a video today, and we're going to kind of model some of his stuff, not him specifically, but sample client. He moved to this place. His neighbor is like 92 years old or something like that. And his grandkids, Kevin's grandkids, comes over, and they just love to hear the sound of the grandkids, because they're kids. I said, man, right on, dude, right on. All right, yeah, right here, M&T. Vaughn says that include 4 more dogs. Well, do dogs pay Social Security taxes, Vaughn? 4 grown kids have been married for 45 years. Look at M&T. That's freaking crushing. Why his wife put up with him that long, I don't know. I'm assuming this is M&T as a dude, but that freaking crushes, man. Right on. Yeah, let's say a prayer for the parents, shall we? Dear Heavenly Father, we just praise you for all the glory you've given us, for the ability to have children, to raise those children in your image, to guide them with the instructions you have given us, to be there when the times get tough. We just praise you for that ability. And we pray for those people who are trying so desperately hard, Lord. May they seek salvation, and whatever you grant them, be it children, be it foster kids, be it adoption, or be it puppies, whatever you decide, we grant them. There's nothing wrong with people who can't do what we hope to do. But just we pray for them as well, because some people just for some reason don't have the ability, and that we know how devastating it's got to be. But they're just as valued as our community as anybody else, and we just pray that we can all remember at the end of the day, it's all in your hands. We pray in Jesus' name, amen. Yeah. So puppies. Yeah, I was just taking the dogs for a walk, and the guy who's doing the neighbor's yard said, "Can I pet your dogs?" I says, "Yeah, man." And I said, "You got dogs?" He goes, "I got like 12." Jeremy's unsubscribing because he hears my dog bark. He goes, "Yeah, I got like 20 chickens too." I said, "Man, you must be crushing it with eggs." He goes, "Yeah, I get about a dozen eggs a day." I said, "You got meat rabbits, meat chickens?" He goes, "No, but I'll probably do that in the future. Right now, I'm going to be working on, what do you say, swans or ducklings?" I can't remember what I said. I forgot. Anyway, and I said, "Man, that kicks ass." So where do you live? In north of Forsyth County, not in an HOA. I said, "Yeah, exactly." Yeah, right on, man. Married at 15, that crushes. All right. M&T married at, oh, yeah, good point. At 18. There you go. Yeah, look at M&T, been married for, look at Vaughn. Vaughn is doing the math. Yeah, M&T must be from West Virginia. They don't know, traditional math. I'm just joking. Look, he said, "I retired early at 58. Oh, Vaughn? Yeah, go to the back of the room, Vaughn. He said he retired early at 58 in 2018, Vaughn. Look at that. So Vaughn doesn't know real math. Vaughn's from West Virginia then. Vaughn's like, "You married at 13? No, he didn't say he got married at 13, Vaughn. He said he got married for 45 years, retired at 58 in 2018. So Vaughn, that means he's 63 now. Oh boy. Back. You're in detention. All right. Let's do some right capital stuff. I'm excited about this morning because I tell you, I got a great freaking strategy I'm working on. All right, good. That looks all good. And I just got to hear you guys' thoughts on this. All right. Rising up, took the jab. Didn't know what Vaughn says he's leaving. Didn't know what I was gonna do. You took the jab and it treated you like a piece of Finney's poo. All right, so this is Kevin and Kim's sample. All right, we're gonna go to profile. And we're keeping this as simple as possible. Let's make sure y'all can see this. Yes, all right, sweet. He took the jab because he tried to virtue signal. All right, so we got 400,000 in what kind of I can't remember, an IRA for Kevin, and it's a 60-40 portfolio. All right, so we're going to get 5.3% rate of return with a 10% standard deviation, which means on any year we could have negative 25 or a positive 35. That would be our 3 standard deviations. Anything outside of that would be considered a black swan. It's not really a black swan, but just be it as it may. All right, so how old are these guys? These guys are 61 each if memory serves. Yeah, so Kevin is 61. he'll turn 62 in a couple weeks. And his better half, old Kim, is 61. She'll turn 62 at the end of November. All right, so everybody with me so far? All right, so their net worth consists of nothing but this IRA and their house at 300,000 schmackes. All right, now the house depreciation is 3% a year. The tax appreciation is 2% a year. All right. And you can see it's going to cost about $5,500 a year to maintain that home. All right, so let me just make sure everybody's with me so far. All right, cool. Now, right on, Steve. Steve's retirement corner. Hey, Steve, are you doing a channel there? I hope so, man. That's freaking awesome. Hey, Steve's got a channel. All right, Steve's retirement corner. Right on, Steve. I hope that channel is fun for you. That's awesome, dude. Good, Steve. Right on. If I can, put the whatever link. I don't know how to do it, man. Are all the right capital licenses used up? Yeah, send me an email, Carl. Yeah, send me an email. You know how to get a hold of me. Anyway, so Steve's retirement channel. It'll be interesting to see what he talks about. Good stuff. All right, so now what we're going to do is now we need his goals, this guy. He needs $5,000 a month in expenses. What about health care? I'm just putting it in here, guys. I'm just putting it in here. All right. What about health care? We're just saying all inclusive, $5,000 a month for expenses. All right. Just stop. But people go nuts. All right. We're going to have these guys live. I think I had Steve kicking the bucket at 86. Yeah, 86. Or Kevin, I should say, Kim kicking the bucket at 90. So Kim will be a widow, so survive Kevin by 5 years, basically. All right, and then we got income. All right, so we got we'll just keep that on there for a second. All right, so we got Social Security. Let's just zero this out for the time being. All right, so we got Kevin's Social Security at $3,200. All right, we're just gonna. So $3,200 is his Social Security. Let's take that early at 62. We're going to file at 62. And then we're going to file for, I probably should have just kept everything the way I had it. Yeah, whatever. Now we're going to file at 62 for Kim. Kim, the only Social Security she'll get is off Kevin's record. All right. So right now we're not doing any reverse mortgages. The only income they have is Social Security and Kevin's portfolio. Everybody with me so far? All right, Bruce. All right, cool. Right on. There you go. So subscribe to Steve's channel, man, so you get 1,000. All right. All right. We'll do better. All right, good. All right, sweet. So everybody with me so far? Okay, cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go up to retirement, and I'm sure it's not going to look good because, he needs, so he got 6% probability of success. So he's run out of money, man. I mean, there's just no two ways around that. And why? Because their income inflows right here is from Social Security in 2024, their first full year of Social Security. Kim will get half of his, but they're both, see what I'm saying? So this is reduced because they're taking it early. So Kim is going to get half the reduced benefit, if that makes sense. And hers will be reduced as well. So between them, they're going to get $4,000 a year and $40,000 a year in Social Security, which means they have to take amount from their portfolio of about $30,000 a year because they need $5,000 a month of living expense plus $5,000 in housing expense. All right, everybody with me so far? Yeah, right on, Carson. Yeah, Carson. I don't know what that was about, but good stuff, man. Good stuff getting that squared away. That's a big deal. All right, let's keep going. You took your jab because you want to show everybody. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say, so now let's just go to retirement now. So I'm showing you what it looks like without the reverse mortgage first. All right. So now we're going to go here. We're going to say, what if they took Social Security at 70? Would that change anything? And I haven't done this yet without the without the reverse mortgage. No. So the proposed plan of running out of money earlier, and let me just show you what that looks like. I'm right here. They got no more income. This is the proposed plan. They ran out of money before Social Security even kicked in. I mean, you can't make it any worse than that. So if someone were to come to me and say, I can retire, and they had a 2% probability of success, I say, yeah, you're going to be in a world of hurt. Don't do All right, so what if they took Social Security to full retirement age and we hit refresh? It's still going to be ugly. 14%. So it's a little bit better, but not much. Again, the current plan is at 62. The other plan was at 70. Now at the full retirement age is 14% of having money left over. And you can see right here, this is their assets and Social Security kicks in, but right there is when the median right there is 0. So basically at 71, they have no more liquid assets. But they have, let's go to cash flows. I hope this is making sense, man. And it's hard for me to keep going back and forth. So I'm just going to kind of run with it. So they have no liquid assets, qualified assets. They're out right here, but they have a house that's worth $500,000. I mean, so that makes literally no sense not to tap in their house. So now they're just, this other loans is they're basically the deficits they're accumulating. It's not necessarily from the house or not. It's just their accumulated deficits because they don't have enough. See, 24,600 is what that was. So let's go back to cash flow. We're coming down. It's not going to show the same thing. But anyway, so they have $500,000 house, but they have no assets. Does that make any sense? No, it's just stupid. Don't do that. All right. So now what we want to do is I want to stop sharing here, and I want to model what Don Graves is doing on. Hold on a second. Let me go up here. Let me go here. We're going to model what Don Graves is doing on. We're going to go to retirement researcher. Retirement researcher. What the hell? Retirement researcher.com. All right, cool. All right, so let me bring back retirement researcher, and we're going to model a couple reverse mortgages. All right. Where'd it go? Right there. All right, cool. Retirement researcher. Eye of the Fauci. No, but it's got to be the lie of the Pfizer. Something. You got to, oh my goodness. All right, so here we go. All right, so we know that Kim and what's his name, Kevin, are 62 right now. They got a house that's worth $300,000. All right. So, and they're 62 now. And so what the software is going to say is that they can have a line of credit of $107,000, which is pretty doggone close to what Don Graves wrote about, which I was talking about in the earlier video, which means they can take $639 a month. I got to write this stuff down. My notepad go right here. For the rest of their life. That's what a 10-year payment means. 639, 62. That's 7667. All right. So that's what a 10-year payment means. How long they can take it for the rest of their life. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Right Capital. We're going to come up over here. Oops. I got to go here. And now we're going to come over here. We're going to go to Profile. All right, and we're going to go to income. We already got this reverse mortgage calculator in here, and we said $7,676. $7,667 is what they can get over the course of their life. All right, and there's no, I don't know how it works in terms of does it increase. I don't know. We're saying the interest rate on the loan is 6.5%. I don't know how, I don't know if it increases as the equity grows. I don't know. You have to talk to somebody else about that. But anyway, and I'm not putting any annual fee or closing costs. I just wanted to cut to the chase. All right, so now let's go back to retirement. So now we got an extra $7,000 a year of income. What does this do for this? Wow, now we're at 81%. Now that's with taking Social Security at our full retirement age. All right, so this is with taking Social Security at our full retirement age, I think. And this is with taking Social Security at 62. All right. Now this also, let me show you what I'm talking about. So we go to cash flows. All right. So here's the current plan. This is taking Social Security at 62 with other income. The other income being the reverse mortgage. But you can see I don't have it growing at all. All right. So, but now if we said let's take Social Security at a proposed plan at 67. All right. Now we're living off the reverse mortgage and we're living off distributions from the IRA. Hope that makes sense. All right. So now here's the Social Security kicking in at 68, first full year, full retirement age. We don't have any income except for the reverse mortgage until then. So now we got $7,000 a year of reverse mortgage income, but we need $70,000 a year of income. So the rest we're going to have to get from our portfolio. All right. So now if we look at our accounts at that point, by the time that guy's only worth $123,000 before Social Security kicks in. So that's a little bit dicey. All right. But still, there's a method to the madness here. Hang tight. All right. So now we say, so that's literally all the difference right there. And yet now we're sitting at, I want to show you guys something else here too. So now let's take a look at what the net worth is. And we'll see the net worth for the mortgage. This is reverse mortgage, $7,667 added to this each and every year, including a 6.5% interest rate. All right. So we can see the value of the home was growing by 3%. And by the time we die, the house is worth $686, but the mortgage is worth $723. So that's a non-recourse loan. So the difference in that $50,000 difference, the kids don't have to pay it. It's gone. That's why you pay the mortgage insurance. Now we still have 300, what's that? About 300,000 or so, 275 of assets now that we can leave to the kids. So we might not leave them a home, but we're leaving 275 of assets where it's a lot easier. They don't have to sell it. They don't have to clean it up or anything like that. They just got to show the beneficiary designations. And by the way, this asset right here is tax free. So anyway, the point being is, yes, we don't leave them the house, but we leave them these other assets. Or if we needed long-term care, we could tap into these for the other assets, whatever. Now we go back to the current plan where we're taking Social Security at 62. And again, we'll just go down here. Now our same thing, our mortgage is more expensive than the home, but we're leaving less assets. Well, inherently that makes sense because we took Social Security earlier. And so that means we have more of a risk to sustain our portfolio, not more of a risk of retiring, just in terms of, do we have cash left over at our death? The answer is not very probable here, but quite probable here. All right. So we're not even out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. So I want to keep going back to retirement researcher. All right. So now we're going to go to stop sharing. All right, let me just see if any questions here. Is the monthly fee from reverse mortgage considered income that is taxable? Well, it's not income. The monthly fee is an income. I mean, it's an expense. So I'm not following you. Yeah, it depends on how old you are. So now we're going to kick into here, and we're going to say that, let's go back to retirement researcher. Where did I put that? Right here. All right, so now let's go back here. So Denise says how much they let you tap into. So let's go to retirement researcher now. And now we're going to say they had a $300,000 home, and we're going to say it grew for 3% a year for until they're 70, if that makes sense. So $300,000 present value, 3% is their future value, 8 years, 0 payment. So that house is now worth, there we go. $300,000 home, present value. 3% is our appreciation rate, 8 years. What's going on here? Hold on just a second. 300,000. 3% is our interest rate. My nose itches. 8 years, 0 payment. $380,000. All right. So what we're doing here is we're saying, now we're 70 years old. We have 380,000 is a home value. All right. And we're assuming that there's a monthly insurance premium of 5 basis points. And this is where I got the 6.5% right here. It's actually, in this case, it's 6.61. I'm throwing the monthly insurance payment in as the interest rate on top of the lender's market on a margin on top of the 10-year constant treasury maturity rate. All right, so anyway, so now we're 70 years old, and we're going to check this guy's out to say he's 70, and our house is worth $380,000 because it was $300,000 before. or letting it grow to 380. Hope that makes sense. So now our line of credit is we get $1,000 a month. All right. So before it was I can't remember what it was before, but it was 600 something. Yeah, 639 a buck. I'm just gonna say $12,000 a year. All right. So now we're gonna stop sharing this, and we're gonna come back over here. Oops. We're gonna hit right capital. All right, sweet. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change our income profile to reverse mortgage kicking in at 70 at $1,000 a month, and that'll be $12,000 a year, and that'll kick in at 70 when Kevin's 70 years old. All right. Again, I'm using 6.5%. I already got the annual fee in part of that interest rate. All right. So now let's take a look. So now let's go back to retirement. Let's see what it looks like now. All right. And I did this earlier today. I was playing around with it, but yeah. So now I can't remember what we have here. So let's start from scratch. We'll go back to as early as possible. All right. So here we are. So if we got, yeah. So now we're at 33%. All right. So let's go to cash flows. I can't remember what we have in this. I just remember. So we got cash flows. We're taking Social Security as early as possible. All right. And we need $68,000 a year, but we only got 40,000 come from Social Security. So we're going to take 28,000 from our portfolio. Now, fast forward till, did I not have the other? Oh, I want to make sure I got it. Yeah, right there. Fast forward till 70. There we go. Fast forward till 70. We got our Social Security plus our reverse mortgage income. We have 85,000 of income. I mean, 60,000 of income, but now we have $85,000 of expenses. So we need 25,000 from the portfolio. Well, if we keep doing that, our portfolio is going to run out of money. You can see right here, qualified assets, right there at 90 years old. So, I mean, that's with a linear rate of return, not a Monte Carlo, but I just want to throw that out to you. Now our house is worth 686,000 and we only owe 574, right? Because we didn't start taking the reverse mortgage until we were 70, which gave it less years in which to accumulate interest. All right, so that's good. Now, nothing wrong with that. I don't like this number right here, 33%. That's for sure. So now what I want to do is, what if we took Social Security at 70 and just basically lived off our portfolio until 70, and then took Social Security and the reverse mortgage at 70. Now, this probably won't make sense for this couple because the lady is, yeah, that doesn't look good at all. We're definitely going to run out of money there. So we're taking, go to proposed plan. All right, so check this out. So now we got no money. We're just living off the portfolio. All right, so that's, I mean, basically it's going to be tough. But once the Social Security and the reverse mortgage kick in, we have positive money. I mean, look at that, 94,000 a year because we delayed Social Security till we're 70, and you'll see that Kevin gets a delayed earnings credits. Now she does not, Kim, because Kim is 67. She's the same age, so we'd want her to take hers at 67, but she didn't have any of her own benefit. All right, so and this we're going to go back and see what it looks like when they both take at the full retirement age. But anyway, so you can see right here, man. Now they got $94,000 a year of income. Well, they only need 85,000 a year of expenses, so they have surpluses here, and you can see the big surpluses coming in. I mean, right here is when I have them, I have them drop their expenses by 10%. You know, because people spend less as they age out, so you can see why that's a big change right there. But as it may, that's still not a great scenario because they're only at 3% probability of success, but why is that misleading? I want to show you. This is because I have them spending all their assets, and they're not spending all their assets. I mean, well, let me show you what I'm talking about. It says 3%, but let me show you. If we go to net worth, they have all these positive cash flows right here. Well, that's going someplace, man. Those positive cash flows are going someplace. All right. So you can see they're spending their spend unsaved cash flow. Well, that doesn't make any sense because they're not they're they can reinvest the portfolio is what I'm saying. So what happened? Let me stop sharing. I want to make this easy. I think I'm making it too hard. Hold on. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Hold on a second. Make it more difficult. I was trying to show you guys that even if it says only 3% probability of success, they're not having a 3% probability of success because they have all this surplus cash flow that they're not spending. Well, but I just need to show you so you guys can visualize it. So let me just show what I'm talking about. All right, here we go. I should have just done this from the get-go, but that's okay. We'll just keep going. So now we're going to reinvest that cash flow, if that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. All right. So now, yeah, see, so look what happens here. Am I making sense? Let me just check the comments here. All right. That's good. So nothing on, okay. I don't see any comments that say anything. All right, so I want to show you guys something. If we go to retirement analysis, they have a 3% probability of success, but they're leaving as a median liquid asset $100,000. Here they got a 33% probability of success, but they're not leaving anything. How can they only have a 3% probability of success if 50% of the time or more they're leaving over $100,000? Because this is because they ran out of money right here. But then because their expenses were less than their cash flows once the reverse mortgage kicked in, they're starting to accumulate assets. You see what I'm saying? So here they're like, wait a second. We're living more, we have more income coming in because of reverse mortgage and Social Security, but the Monte Carlo doesn't care about that. It just cares about, did you at some point run out of liquid assets? And you're like, yeah, I did. But I have more income coming in than I needed, even though I ran out of assets. I hope that makes sense. So Monte Carlo would, oh, you guys can't even see what I'm doing here, can you? I didn't do it. I got to share it. Hold on a second. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I get it. But just because you ran out of, there you go. Let me show you what I was talking about here. I didn't show it to you. Hold on a second. All right. So right here, this is what I was talking about. 3% probability of success, but their median liquid net worth is $100,000. Here's a 33% probability of success with a median net worth of 0. All right, so let's go to confidence. Why is there a 3% probability of success? Because right here we ran out of money, but we didn't run out of income. We have income. We have more income than we're spending. So as long as we're not smoking that with crack cocaine or lighting cigars with $100 bills, we're reinvesting that. And now you start to see, oh, by the time freaking Kim dies, her median liquid net worth is $100,000. 5% of the time she has at least $48,000. There's a 100% probability of success here, but because we ran out of liquid assets, it shows a 3%. But we didn't. We have more money coming in than going out the door. It just took some time for it to gather. And so I hope this makes sense. And what I want to go to proposed. Yeah. So right now, all right, right here, we're spending 71,000, 73, 76, 80, 82, 84, 78, 80, 16,000 bucks from the portfolio. All right. So if we look at the portfolio, we look at net worth. We can see our portfolio ran out of money right there at 68 years old. And we're going to solve this in just a second. So we ran out of money. That is a fact. All right. Now, let me just go back to the summary. I keep screwing this up. All right. So at 68 years old, we ran out of money. It was actually 69. So we're able to so we have these 2 years right here. We ran out of money. All right. But then once the Social Security kicks in and the reverse mortgage kicks in, we have more money than is going out the door. Here's our expenses. Here's our income. So we just have to solve for how do we get away with these 2 years of having run out of money? Well, simply just spend a little bit less that year. Or what we're going to do here, I hope this makes sense, is we're going to friggin' take Social Security at 67 in this scenario. The reason we want to do that is because Kim can't take a Social Security benefit anyway until Kevin files. So now we're going to have them both file at their full retirement age. All right. And we're going to see what this looks like now. All right. So now let's take a look. Now we're at 54%. We go to confidence. All right. Oh, look at that. The worst case scenario is at 74 with a median liquid net worth was $6,000 liquid net worth. But now by the time Kim dies, she has a median liquid net worth of $64,000. Again, that is 5% of the time she has less than $1,000. That if you had a retirement scenario, that is about 100, probably 90, probably 96% probability. But it's not going to show you this here because it says it's 54%. But it's not 54% because just because we're running low on liquid assets, we're not running low on cash. So here, the proposed, So here we're first full year of Social Security right there, $66,000 of Social Security. We haven't started taking the reverse mortgage yet. We've only waited to take the reverse mortgage until we're 70. All right. So now, again, once the reverse mortgage kicks in, we're only needing about $1,000 a year from the portfolio. Well, I mean, if that's the difference between retiring or not, then just freaking spend $100 or $150 less a month. We still got them spending $90,000 a year. You see what I'm saying? Now, by the time they hit a little bit older and I reduce the expenses, because as you age, you don't spend as much. Now, again, we're running surplus income. Let's see what kind of comments we have from the Peter Gallery. Yeah, 100%. All right, so now what I want to do here is I want to go back to Right Capital. I want to say, okay, that's with taking the line of credit at 70, I think we did. So now what I want to do is say, okay, I want to run it on. I'm just going to go into this real quick. So we had hold on a second. Let's say 425 is the house. Oh, by the way, I don't even think I changed the value of the house back then either. I think I still had the value of the house at $300,000. It wouldn't be $300,000 because it appreciates. But either way, I did. I did have appreciate. Never mind, scratch that. All right. So when I was looking at, and now they're 72 years old. At 72, they could take $1150 a month. $1150 a month, about $20,000 a year. All right. So now we're going to say this is where you model it, but we're going to say, okay, we're going to wait till we're 72, Right Capital, to take the reverse mortgage, income, reverse mortgage, and that'd be, oh man, I just forgot what I said. What did I say? $1150 a month. $1150 a month. Yeah, exactly. That's not 18,000 a year. That's 14,000 a year. All right. Now these numbers aren't exact what Don Graves has, so I'm just kind of going off, but it's okay. We're going to crunch these numbers anyway. 14,000 a year. There's 11. $14,200, something like that. Now I don't know if this is going to work as at 14,200. All right, 72. And we're going to take Social Security. Now I forgot what we did. All right. So we're going to take Social Security. See what I was trying to do. Oh, I was going to show you something else here too. So now, all right, that was pretty good. All right, that was good. So now we're going to take Social Security. So we're sitting at 44% probability of success. All right, now we're going to take Social Security as early as possible. This is what I was doing before. I was trying to model the idea of taking Social Security early and a reverse mortgage later. You see what I'm saying? And using Don Graves' numbers, it actually made sense to do that. And Don Graves is the guy. Actually, I might be able to revisit those here in just a second. Let's see here. Actually, let me go back to let me find that Don Graves email I had, because that was what's going on. It's taking a long time. Yeah, as early as possible. All right, 1 second. Let me just go back to 1 second. I'm going to stop sharing for just a momento, amigos. Am I still on here? All right, cool. Hey, look at Jill. She's getting right there. It's actually even better than that, Jill. We're talking if you change from 5,000 to 4,750 a month, 100, but you're hitting on the head exactly. All right, 20 people on Rumble, right on, dude. 20 people on Rumble and freaking 126 on YouTube. So Rumble is I mean that's 15%, but that's good. That's good that you guys are on Rumble. That's very pleasing. All right, so I just want to get this email from Don Graves again to show you what his the eye of the tiger. So he had at 72. All right, good. Hold on just a second. Make sure I got my numbers right. Yeah, I'm a little bit off. All right, good. So let me make this a little bit. Okay, so I'm a little bit less than Don. I'm still a little bit less than Don. And the reason is because this is where the line of credit, it grows at a higher interest rate than your appreciation. I can't stress this enough. Yeah, here we go. There it is. All right, 1448. All right, so using Don, so this is why you get the line of credit in place immediately, so that way you can get the higher growth potential on the line of credit than you would if you just did a 3% appreciation. Hope that makes sense. So now I just showed you with Don, with Jesse. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So I was showing you a $300,000 house appreciating at 3% a year, right? So by the time you hit 72, that $300,000 house is worth whatever it was, $380,000, all right? And that's what you're basing your line of credit on. But in the real, what you should do, and this is what I tell my man in the video, Finney, you ate all my napkins. I'm just going to use my shirt again. Yeah, Finn again. But what happens is in the line of credit world of a home equity line, a reverse mortgage, it's not growing by the appreciation, it's growing by the interest rate. We're going to say 6.5%, whatever it is. So basically the line of credit amount is going to be much bigger because the line of credit has been growing, not at the 3% appreciation, but at the line of credit amount, which means we have a line of credit instead of what I was showing you with, I forgot what it was. We have a line of credit of $227,000 as opposed to, I think I had, I don't know what I had, but it's a lot less than that. So $227,000 line of credit gives us at 72 a lot more income than this is why it's so important to get the reverse mortgage locked in as early as you can to allow that line of credit to grow at a significantly higher interest rate than just the appreciation on your home. Part two of this is that your fees are based on your home value. So if your home is worth $300,000 today and $400,000 tomorrow, you would want to lock in the line of credit when the home is worth $300,000 today, because it's a 2% closing fee on that, or mortgage interest, whatever it is. I can't remember, but it's a 2 or 3% on the appraised value of the home. So the longer you wait to do the line of credit, the home equity line of credit, reverse mortgage line of credit, the more you're going to pay in closing costs because your house is appreciating. On top of that, you're not getting this 6.5% appreciation on the line of credit. You're only getting the appreciation of the house appreciation, which is 2 or 3%. It might be more. I don't know, but I doubt it. Anyway, so now let's go back to Right Capital, and I'm going to show you the difference here. It's nuts. All right, so share screen. There we go. So now we got 14. It's 1442. 1448, that's what it is. 1448 at 72. We times that by 12. Yeah, well, 1448 times 12 is 17,000 a year. All right. Right there. All right, so let's go to income. Oops, profile income. And these are just sample people, by the way. This isn't a real guy. I mean, somewhat of a real guy, but not really. So now we're going to get $17,376 a year off of that reverse mortgage. Now we're going to hit retirement. That all looks good to me. Yeah, looks good. All right, so let's let the software calculate. And we got Social Security as early as possible. That looks good. That looks good. All right. So I got, that looks good. All right, so let's see what our confidence is. So here you can see we ran out of money right there at 83 years old. We ran out of liquid assets at 83. All right. And that's not good. We don't want that. So let's go to cash flows and just see what we're looking at. This is Social Security as early as possible and delaying the reverse mortgage until we're 72 at this stage. All right. Well, at some point so you can see we're taking 30,000 off a $400,000 portfolio. That's not going to get the job done because at some point that money's going to run out. I mean, that's just well, I'll show you here. So we ran out of money. I mean, basically with a linear rate of return of 5.3, with a Monte Carlo, we're going to run out of money. I already showed you. I think it's 82 years old. So that's not good. But be it as it may, let's see what it looks like if we defer Social Security into our full retirement age. That's taken as early as possible, deferring Social Security to our full retirement age. I don't know the answer here. Let's see. 46. Oh, whoa, 46%. Well, how can it be 46% probability of success, but the median we leave downstream is 113,000? The median means 50% of the time you have more, 50% of the time you have less. Yet this is saying we only have a 46% probability of success. How can that possibly be? It makes no sense. Oh, because they're saying at 71 years old, we ran out of money. But we didn't run out of money. Again, just like we talked about before. It's crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, so now let's go back and take it at 70. And I don't think it's going to work because we have to live off the portfolio for those 8 years. All right, so let's do this. Live off the portfolio. This got to be lower, I think. Yeah, but again, even that. So in this case, we don't want to take Social Security, in this case, early. We want to take Social Security later, obviously. But on top of that, we want to get a reverse mortgage locked in so we can get that freaking appreciation growing. Now I just want to show you the last straw here. I got him spending let me show you what I'm talking about. We got him spending, we're talking a pretty decent amount of money right here. $5,000 a year plus taxes, $5,500 a month plus taxes for, just a guy and his wife. You know what I'm saying? Now, that may or may not come to fruition. I don't know. I highly suspect it won't, but let's just go back and say we're going to have you spending $4,500 as opposed to that $5,000 a month. So we're going to spend, instead of $65,000, we're going to spend $60,000 roughly a year, if that makes sense. Watch the difference here. Boink, 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 boink. Well, that didn't change that much. Oh, but let's see. Chris Raj is 62. We're we only have a 10% probability of success, Josh. But you're leaving the median. You're leaving is 312,000 downstream. That means right here at 69 years old, you ran out of money. And yet when your wife died, there's 100% probability she has money left over. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So let's just go to cash flows and we'll check out we're living off our portfolio, 64,000. Here's when Social Security kicks in at 70. So now we got $102,000 with Social Security and a reverse mortgage, and we're only spending $80,000. That doesn't make any sense. So obviously we want to finagle this to make it work better. And did I do Social Security at the full retirement age? I can't remember. But anyway, the point being is at this stage, we have 22,000 a year of surplus income. All right. I mean, come on, give me a break. Here, just I'm going to change out the reverse mortgage to 70. I'm just going to reduce it by a couple bucks a month. Let's see. So let's just change out the reverse mortgage till 70, and we'll reduce it by 1,000. 70, and we'll reduce it to 16,000 a year, something like that, just for giggles, just for grins and giggles. If you know what I'm saying, grins and giggles. Anyway, this whole thing that Yeah, now we're at 13% and 52%, but now we're leaving 322,000 downstream. When did we actually quote run out of money? We ran out of money right there at 68 years old. Maybe for a couple years you tighten your belt, or we just say, you know something, let's not. Maybe we can take the reverse mortgage early. There's a million different ways to skin this cat. All right, let's see what kind of questions you got. I haven't considered. Oh, right on. Yeah, right on. Rick said Josh didn't consider healthcare. Oh man, is that what he said? Oh, poking the bear. That is funny. Um, yes, it is. It's the right, yeah, right on. So glad they asked. They upload the numbers with the tax. Yeah, they did upload it with the tax law changes. Part time. I mean, like we still got these guys spending, man. It's not like they're freaking living like paupers here. And the guy I'm working with had more than whatever I said, 400,000. He had 600,000 bucks. But just that's a failing retirement plan. What? That's. I mean, look, I'm not gonna have $1 million by the time I retire, unless I sell my house. You know what I'm saying, and add it to my portfolio. But I need someplace to live. I just this animosity towards reverse mortgage. So let's just go back here. I just want to see what their liquid their net worth is upon death. I mean, I literally I don't understand. All right, so here at death, they owe 765,000 on a house that's only worth 686,000. So they owe 80,000 more than the house is worth. Oh my goodness. The bank eats that because you pay the mortgage insurance. Now they have 784,000 left to give to their kids. And again, I'd rather inherit this than a house any day of the week because this is liquid. A house, you got to maintenance, you got to deal with crap, you got to put on the market, all that stuff. Here it's just liquid. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather, if I had my choice, I'd much rather inherit this and walk away from the house. Right, that's under the proposed, I think. Let's go to current. And here, same thing. They owe more on their house, and they're this. I think we took Social Security at 62. They're still leaving, 160,000. Right, I'll let you guys chomp on that some. That seems like a slam dunk to me. Anyway, so my thing. You're come back, Vaughn. You're back. You're back, man. You're back. My thing for me is I would when I hit 62, and it probably won't be in this house because that's 10 years from now. And there's really no reason I need this big old house. I got to get out of Fulton County. I just saw a place today where that guy in Texas, I think where Houston is, he shot this robber who was like threatening to kill these people. It turned out he had a fake gun, but no one do that. People were scared enough that they were giving him his money. And the guy shot and killed a robber who had a arm length of, I mean, he should have been in jail anyway, but George Soros is back. District attorneys let him out. And of course, these are the black guys who are rampaging through black communities. No one cares. Like if you say that you're racist, it's nuts. The people who are affected by criminals aren't rich white people out in Boston. They're the poor minorities and poor white people in these places. And yet these guys is the rich liberals from Harvard and Stanford who say, we're going to let him out. You're not getting George Soros money unless you're a rich liberal dude. You know what I'm saying? That's all there is to it to be a district attorney. And it's these poor and working class black, brown, and white people and Indians and Asians, all that stuff. I don't care what your freaking skin color is who get affected by high crime. So anyway, some white guy shot this guy, and they're like trying to make it be the next George Floyd. And look, screw that. I'm just telling you right now, screw that. This guy was holding what looked like a firearm, a legit firearm, into people's faces, threatening to shoot him if they didn't give his money. Anyway, the DA is going after our hero, not the criminal. The criminal should never have been on the streets to begin with. That won't happen in freaking Cherokee County, but it will happen in Fulton County. Same thing happened in St. Louis County with those two guys, the lady and the guy with it was weird couple, but the lawyers, what I'm saying? That would not happen in a right-wing county. Look, they can ban semi-automatic weapons all day long, the state of Chicago or the state of Illinois. Obviously you lost all your weapons in a freaking boating accident. But they're not going to send the sheriff's office at you in a right-wing county. You got it. It's not because the Republicans are better. It's because Republicans have common sense. They're not as evil. The Republicans just want to get rich, dude. That's all they want. They want money. They don't care so much about the power. They just want money. The Democrats, a lot of them are already rich, and now they want power. They want to tell you how to live your life. The point being is you don't necessarily have to flee Illinois because you're not going to give up your firearms, regardless of what some clown in Chicago says or Springfield. But you got to get out of the blue counties because you won't have any, especially if you're white. They're going to use you as they can to rabble rouse. That's what they do. That's what they did with St. Louis people. That's what they did against George Floyd. That's what they did against Darren Wilson. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in Fulton County and this were to happen and you have to be white in a wealthier suburb, the DA just wants to get reelected, man. So he's going to use you as a stake. And he says, hey, we're going to stake this guy. And you're like, but that guy was waving a gun. That's fake. You should have known. How would I know? What, I got to wait till he kills somebody? Screw that. Get the hell out of blue counties. They can kiss my big fat behind. Anyway, mortgage insurance isn't a model. Yep. Right. I'm saying. And guess who is the grand jury? Well, guess what? They're going to make it a racial thing. And the grand jury is going to be mostly people of not this guy's tone. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to make it the next George Floyd. No, what I'm saying. The guy is a hero. Shouldn't be heralded. He 100% is. Yeah. 6-year-old shot the teacher. What I'm saying. Yeah, it's Fulton County's crazy. Crazy, man. And it's nuts. And then you got Clayton County to our south. It's insanity. And yet they voted for freaking, Warlock. You know what I'm saying? They voted. It's crazy. It's weird how they voted for Warlock, but yet somehow Brian Kemp got 53% of the vote. That doesn't seem suspicious. It does to me, but be it as it may. All right. So, so that's an hour into it. I just had to go over this with Right Capital. All right, so the lessons here. If you're going to, like, here's Annette. Annette's probably not going to stay where she's at. And Annette, if I'm giving personal details, sorry, but I think you've made it pretty clear. So Annette would not want to get a reverse mortgage on her house in North Padre Island because it is hefty in a cost, and she's probably not going to stay there. If you're in your long-time house that your retirement, I don't understand why you wouldn't do it. Even if you don't intend on using it, just get the line of credit to grow. So the rule of thumb is, which I've come to learn, I wrote about in my book. If you move every 5 to 7 years, take an adjustable rate mortgage. Don't lock it in at 30 years rates. Don't do that. It's dumb. And you'll think, I'm not going to move. Dude, you're going to move, man. I mean, maybe not you, but especially while you're young and growing. Now, you might not, but if you have a history of moving to take a job or what, like I did, you know what I'm saying? Which is why I'm going to adjustable rate mortgage on this loan right here, because we'll probably move, and we've moved. This is the longest we've ever been in a house, this house right here, and we'll stay here and for another 5 years or so. And by then, my adjustable rate will adjust again for whatever the interest rates are at that point. By that point, I'm hoping not to have any debt. Sell this puppy, we'll downsize to Tennessee, to Maine, to friggin' Virginia, to Georgia. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? West Virginia, if I can get the old ball and chain to agree. But who knows, man? You know what I'm saying? But also, I'm just Missouri. We're East Coast people. Anyway, point being is like if you're going to once we go into that retirement house, we will take a reverse mortgage line of credit, or we'll do a reverse mortgage to purchase. I don't know. We'll have to see at that time, but it's a tool that it's crazy to me that people don't use it. And as I said in the video earlier today, the biggest drawback are the closing costs, which is why you don't use it if you're going to be bouncing in 5 years. But then again, if you have no assets and you need to go to nursing home, what we would use as your asset, what I do with Right Capital, is say you're just going to sell your house, move in. You know what I'm saying? But if you spend all that money on your reverse mortgage because you're a spendthrift, then that would be a problem. You know what I'm saying? If you're a spendthrift, you just like, you got to get the most updated phone, you got to get a new car, be fancy, schmancy, good time rock and roll. Yeah, reverse mortgage is probably not going to work for you. But I don't have a whole lot of spendthrifts here. If they did, they wouldn't be on my channel. They'd be looking for, what's that guy, Jeremy, whatever his name is, the financial guy. And I like Jeremy, the financial education guy, but they'd be looking for new stock tips so they could, 10x their returns so they can increase their spending, if that makes sense. I don't care about any of that. I care about freaking just paying down the debt and living a lot simpler. Like I said, travel light in retirement. That way you got a reverse mortgage line of credit. You spend down your assets. You downsize your house. You spend some of those assets down. You take Social Security at full retirement age, whatever. My man's going to take it at 62 because, again, he has some health issues. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, I tell you, I actually, our neighbor right over here, she's a single school teacher. And I was out back with the boys firing some air guns, you know what I'm saying? And she goes, "Hey, I see you. Do you think I should get a handgun? I'm very nervous with them." And her name's Debbie. I said, "Debbie, why don't you just get an airsoft? It's a pellet gun essentially. You know what I'm saying?" I said, "They look as legit as could be. If someone's going to come up on you, you pull out an airsoft, he's not going to know the difference. You know what I'm saying? Criminals aren't stupid. That's the issue. It's like freaking electricity. It's the path of least resistance, man. And criminals will go to the path of least resistance. So if an older lady is a single school teacher is driving down the car in South Fulton County for whatever godly reason she's down there, and some thug came up on her and she had an airsoft and she just put it out. It's gonna be tough to say, "Oh my goodness," you know what I'm saying? Now, will that young thug shoot? Maybe, but so the point is avoid the areas you should avoid. Obviously, redline those areas because if you do, you're gonna be fine. But in the case that you weren't fine, if you had an airsoft and you just took that around with you, that's fine. Absolutely works like a charm. And they hurt. You ever been hit with a pellet? It freaking hurts, dude. 5.7, Rick. 5.7. My stock returns are 5.7, based on the Vanguard models. So that's gross of inflation. So you factor in about 3 to 3.5% all in inflation. You're only getting 2 to 2.5% on stocks. What I'm saying. Taser will send you a replacement taser after a police report is submitted. Interesting. Ooh, taser's options are more certain. Shoot it, drop it, no more, and you can flee the scene as I don't know anything about tasers. Don't tase me, bro. Yeah, the Republicans won't do crap once they get the presidency. They're never going to get it back because it's no longer about voting, ballot or voting counting. Is now about ballot harvesting, and the Democrats are better. Look, the Democrats just need a couple counties in various states, and they're golden, man. Fulton County, Cumberland County, Maine, Fulton County, Georgia, wherever the counties are in Michigan, Madison. I don't know if it's Madison County, wherever the hell that county is in Wisconsin. Get a non-lethal hero gun. It shoots a pepper ball at high velocity. It's illegal, canceled, and is legal. Canceled. Yeah, there you go. That's I don't even know what that is. Oh, so I'm fine. So Annette says we can tell her. So let me tell you about Annette down there in Texas. So she leaves at 3 a.m. to go for a nightly walk. Her husband's drunk as a skunk. They got some gold just sitting right there on the front table. Her address is 123 Main Street, Houston, Texas. That's pretty funny. It is a clown world. Yes, 100%. So let me go into this a little bit, Rick. The reason I think it's okay to take 5% a year is because Berna non-lethal handgun. Berna is because you don't spend what the 4%. It's a pet peeve of mine. That'll be the pet peeve of mine forever and ever and ever. You don't spend an inflation adjusted amount when you retire. There's just the evidence is just not there. And I'll repost a video I did with Blanchett. He said there's a little bit of evidence. Okay, maybe a little bit, but the evidence is so overwhelming that, and he rightly acknowledged that people spend less as they age. Then I interviewed my man Andrew Biggs from the AEI, American Enterprise Institute, who was the second in command of Social Security Administration under the George W. Bush presidency, and he's done tons of research, looking at data that retirees are happy, content. Maybe is a better word. They're content. 20% of people are not content. 80% are. These people aren't running out of money, man. They're just not. If they were running out of money, they wouldn't be content. They'd be fearful, and that means inherently they're not content. It's weird how God wants us content. It's weird how God talks about in the good book money more than anything else. It's almost like saying once you get over the fear of money, running out of money, you'll be content. And when you're content, you're better able to hear my words. You won't be living in fear, because fear you can be controlled very easily. Appreciate y'all being here on Rumble, by the way. Feel free to comment. Anyway, so the 5% is the idea that spending, the 4% rule is the idea that spending increases every year with this stupid inflation number, which is just so freaking dumb, man. It's based on CPI. Let me see if I want to go into this real quick on my book. I was working on this morning. Let me just, 1 second. Hold on a second. I've done this before. I'm going to do it again. I don't care. Everyone kiss my butt if they get mad. Don't care. Don't care. So I'm just going to show you again, guys, for the 1,000th time. That's okay, because there's new people here all the time. This is from my forthcoming book, Relax and Retire, Debunking Inflation Fears. All right, so here's 2009. You're 65 to 74 years old. This is right off the BLS website, Bureau of Labor Statistics. I didn't pull this out of my butt. All right, this is what you spend on food. Fast forward 5 years now, 5 years, 2014. Now you're over 75. So inflation has kicked in for those 5 years. Even net of inflation, what are you spending on food? You're spending less. What are you spending on housing? You're spending less. What are you spending? Oh, why? Well, because we're spending less on mortgage interest. Our maintenance, repairs, and insurance have gone up because the price of your house has gone up. Makes sense. Spend a little bit less on utilities. You're not hardly spending anything on apparel anymore. Transportation, you're not spending as much. Why? Because you're getting older. You're sitting around. The only thing that's really growing is healthcare right there, because you're getting older and you need more healthcare. We all know this, man. You're not working, so you're not hardly putting anything to Social Security or retirement accounts anymore. Let me show you. So here's homeowner statistics. 2009, again, you're 65 to 74. 82% of people in 2009 owned a home. 52% of people who owned a home who are in this age bracket, 65 or 74, had no mortgage. That means 48% of the people had a mortgage. Fast forward 5 years, 80% of the people have a home. That's 4 out of 5 own their home. And 2/3 of those homeowners, all inclusive, have no mortgage. Is there any reason? Is there any wonder why housing cost goes way down? And what's the biggest what's the biggest part of CPI? It's friggin' housing cost. It's so damn such a scam. I'm so pissed at this. So anyway, here we go. 2009, you friggin' 65-year-old, 74-year-old spent $42,000. This is actual dollars. Actual dollars for 2009. Actual 2014 dollars. This household, who's now over 75, spent $6,000 less. That's $500 a month less in actual dollars with inflation adjustments and everything. They must all be going bankrupt, right? No, they're not. Why? Because here's public assistance. The amount of public assistance went down from 2009 when you're 65, 74 to 2014 when you're over the age of 75. So they didn't go bankrupt, or else the public assistance would be going up. Oh, what else here? Home ownerships. They paid off their mortgage. Oh, what else? Change the net worth. Here, because of the Great Recession, they dropped net worth, not a negative net worth. They just had a negative net worth for that. So they didn't have a negative net worth. They had less net worth than they had the year previous. Here, though, from the year previous, the net worth went up $10,000 if they're over the age of 75. Inherently, they're not running out of money. So this would be like the Monte Carlo. You ran out of money because your net worth declined. Oh, that was just for 1 year and one off. But by 5 years later, not only did I not run out of money, my net worth is growing exponentially. Certainly compounded. The whole thing's such a freaking scam. I hate it. Let's see. Oh, here we are. So here we are, 1999. You're 55 and 64. Compare the expenses to you at 2004 when you're 65 and 74. Oh, food goes down. Housing payments go down. Transportation payments go down. You're working, putting money in your retirement accounts go down. Again, the only thing that goes up is healthcare. In this case, utilities a little bit as well. That's it. And a little bit for gas or vehicle. I'm not sure what that is. I can't tell. That's it's for gas because the price of gas is contingent. Anyway, so you can see healthcare is the only thing that went up. Everything else goes down. Why? Because you don't spend as much as you get older. Let's keep going. Oh, total expenditures 1999 between 55 and 64. You spend about $40,000. Total expenditures 5 years later, adjusted for inflation. This includes inflation. You're spending less because you're older, 65 to 74. I want any freaking I'm not yelling at you guys, but I'm yelling at the financial planning industry. Are you guys seeing this? I think you are, right? Yeah. I want anyone out there in the financial planning industry to say spending goes up every year adjusted for some stupid inflation amount. Show me the flipping evidence and we can have a discussion. I've been begging, asking for it, and I can't find it because it doesn't exist. It doesn't flipping exist. It's so frustrating. And how many people croaked on their freaking desk because they had to cake the freaking that thing in order to keep their stupid job because they thought they couldn't have enough money for retirement based on some stupid 4% rule. It's freaking bullcrap, man. Entertainment expenses go down. Why? How can that be? So let's go down now to right here. Now we're my age bracket, 45 to 54, 1989. What I'm doing here is we're called not a linear progression. I'm drawing a blank of what it's called when you follow a kind of cohort of people throughout their life cycle. I can't remember what it's called, but it's I can't remember. Anyway, so here, these people are 45, 54, 1989. In 1994, they age, so now they're 55 to 64. Then we go to 1999, they age. 2004, they age. So here you go, 45 to 54. Your old buddy Josh. When I hit 5 years later, adjust with inflation, I'm 55 to 64. My food drops off. My vehicle transportation drops off. My health insurance goes up a little bit. My money I put in Social Security drops off. My mortgage interest drops off. Not a huge amount because I'm still kind of working here, but it's still dropping off. Now, why would that be? Oh, average household size dropped. Why? Because as I write this, I'm 52. My wife is 48. We have a household now of 4, which is down from 6 just a few years ago. In 5 years, when we're in the 55 plus age category, my youngest will be gone, and then we'll be a household of 2. How much food do 2 people consume relative to 4, of which 2 of those are teenage boys? Obviously, our food consumption will drop, and lo and behold, that's what happens. They can all kiss my big, fat, shiny freaking behind. So here you go. 45 to 54. 1984 to 1989. In the same age bracket, my expenses went up with inflation. However, as I age out of that age bracket into an older age bracket, my expenses dropped. As I age, it's still in that same expense bracket with inflation, my expenses go up. As I age out of this expense bracket, this age bracket, into the higher age bracket, 65, 74, my expenses drop. As I age within that 65 to 74 bracket, my expenses go up. As I age into the post 70, older than 75 bracket, my expenses go down. This is all with inflation. So I'm going to show you some. We're increasing our expenditures from 1984 by 88 basis points a year. That's less than 1%. Less than 1%. That's with real dollars. Real flipping dollars. Now, I'm not yelling at you guys. I'm just pissed because this really infuriates me. 1984, real $1984, $28,696 is what we spent according to BLS. 2019 dollars. Real flipping dollars, $36,673. So over the course of whatever that, 35 years, something like that, our spending has gone up, whatever that is, from 28,000 to 36,000, $8,000 over the course of that in real dollars. That's an 0.88% a year inflation adjustment. If you want to use that, that's fine. That's freaking crazy. So right here, total expenditures in real dollars, 1984, that. 2014, that. But yeah, if we show, if we show after all the, right here, I think I had the chart in here, right here, average total expenditures. They'll say, look, but Josh, in 1984, if you were 75 years old, you spent this, whatever that, I can't remember what that number is on top of my head. And now we go to 2019, you spent that. That's freaking stupid. People make that argument. They'll say, look, So your average inflation adjusted spending is 3.88% a year. See, you're wrong. That's stupid because this is a 75-year-old person in 1984 versus a 75-year-old person in 2019. This is my grandparents. I don't even think it's my grandparents, for heaven's sake. But that's not me. You have to start at what did I spend the previous year, not what some freaking grampy spent in 1984. It has nothing to do with me. We didn't have the internet back then. You have to look at what am I consuming as I age out. I'm consuming more or less. Show me the evidence that people age out and they consume more. And then they'll say the retirement spending smile, Josh, which I just destroy in my forthcoming book. Because did I get in that with Blanchett? I think I did a little bit. The retirement spending. I'm going to go into it. I don't care. Let's go into this. Freaking Blanchett's my man. I'm not yelling at him. There's other people who know what the hell they're doing. Oh, if I have a 10% probability of a 90% probability of success in my Monte Carlo, that means 10% of the time I fail. It's like the equivalent of my plane crashing. That's so friggin' stupid. Here's a retirement spending smile. All right. So here is $100,000 a year consumption adjusted for inflation. So we're basically saying when we adjust it for inflation, $100,000 a year is flat. All right. So this would be the equivalent of 100,000 this year, 103,000, 106,000. We're basically saying net of inflation. Hope that makes sense. Now, the reality is this is what we find. This is Blanchett's research, Blanchett's spending smile. $100,000, and he used a little bit. He's actually a little bit. In fact, I take him on this side of the equation. He says your spending drops until you're about 84, and then it goes up with healthcare costs until the last year of your life. Your healthcare costs, expenditures is actually more than what it would have been with inflation adjustment. I don't buy that at all. I completely disagree with that. But be that as it may, it's still better than our spending adjusts with inflation each year until we're dead. There's no evidence of that. This is suspect in my opinion. And I talk about it in my book, You Can Retire on Social Security. Doesn't mean it's bad. It just means I disagree with it. It doesn't mean it's nefarious. It just I completely disagree. Anyway, so we'll go right here. If Blanchett's numbers are valid and we have no reason to doubt them, and the retirement spending model's retiree consumption is 2.688 million versus this guy at 3 million. So even if Blanchett was right, you're still spending 10%, it's 10% less in total dollars than this guy right here, even with Blanchett's retirement spending smile. All right, so you're still spending difference 3 million versus 2.68 million. That's 322,000 less you're spending, even if Blanchett's right, which means the retiree needs 10% less in his portfolio than he was previously told he needed. That's a great start, but hang in there with me, because in the retirement spending smile, we see that once you reach the age of 84, the low point of your consumption right there, then it starts going up dramatically. And Blanchett would say your spending is going up by, what does it say? 2.77% above the rate of inflation. All right, that's what that would show you. Well, let's look at the reality. Now, healthcare spending did increase by 4.39% a year over that same time, but a bit higher than spending increases on the whole, but not by much. As you can see in the chart below, the spending increases moved pretty much in lockstep. So here's total expenditures. If you're over the age of 75, here's healthcare expenditures, the red. They just kind of tracked each other. It did not go up above anything else. So it just basically mimicked your total consumption. All right, let's keep going. These real-world numbers definitely challenge the premise of the retirement spending smile, which assumes that retirees who initially spend $100,000 in retirement will spend roughly 3% above inflation from the ages of 85 to 95. It's just we don't see that there, unless this right here is saying we're spending is 3% above inflation from day one. It's just not. It's not. So this right here is just a completely, I hate to say debunk, but I challenge that. Right. And when I go into deep in healthcare costs and this stuff too, because it's such a clown show, you can see right on the healthcare cost. Oh, I thought I saw it. I could have sworn I saw it in here. Healthcare, right there. All right. So in 1989, you spent $1,300 and $1,989 in healthcare costs. In 1994, you spent $2,100 in 1994 healthcare costs. And again, so that's the increase in cost as you age. All right, not much. As healthcare goes up, and no one's going to deny that, but it doesn't go up to the extent they say it does. I just want to kind of go through this real quick. What else I got? Well, I got to get ready for my HOA meeting. Hold on just a second. I'm readjusting this. I want to just show you this right here. I thought this was pretty interesting. Income of the aged population, 1962 to 2002. Married, non-married, median income of the, not average. Average would skew it higher. Median means 50% of the people have more, 50% of the people have less. 1962, the earliest year for which data are available. Even after adjusting for inflation, median income has risen 90% for married couples and 96% for unmarried couples. Even with adjusting for inflation, married couples have more income than they did in 1962 by almost twice as much. And non-married couples have well over twice as much, adjusted for inflation, by the way. Crazy. Anyway, why do I show that? Because my argument is that the deflation is so heavy that we don't even realize it. How much does it cost to buy this phone relative to what it used to cost? How much does it cost to buy this laptop relative to what it used to cost? And people are arguing to their blue in the face, but the cost of housing, housing costs. What could possibly be part of the reason for that? All right, and then you look at your appliances inside the house. I mean, that the price of housing has gone up, relatively speaking, with CPI. That's a fact. Well, a lot of other things have gone down in cost. But my car, I can't afford it, because look at all the stuff you got in the car now. Look at all the amenities that go with the car that weren't there. Look at your house now, dude. Framed differently, insulated differently. Look at all the gadgets you have with natural gas, freaking your stove. The whole thing's nuts. The idea, it's crazy. HOA. No, my HOA is only 21 houses though, so because it's most people here are pretty cool. I mean, everyone just kind of gets along to get along. There's one guy when we first started was like over the top. I've got to get blah, 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 blah. Yeah, look at Jill. She spent $3,000 on a desktop computer and printer in 1993, which doesn't do crap to what it does now. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm not sitting there. I'm not trying to say it's all freaking, great. I don't think it is. There's lots of negativity, but my goodness, people, we are living into, look, I talk, well, I'm not, I gotta, just go back. I'll be done with this book shortly, and you can read it for yourself, and you can throw Rotten Tomatoes at it if you want, but you're not going to be able to, because I proved once and for all that I am right and everybody else is wrong. That's so cocky. I'm sorry. It's true. Talk to me about a freaking kilowatt hour of electricity from 1926. Go ahead. Make that claim. All right. The kilowatt hour of electricity in 1926 actually cost less than it does today. That is a fact. In Atlanta, it's about 5 cents a kilowatt hour. Yeah, and guess what? You did not have in Atlanta back then for a lot of homeowners. You didn't have running water. You didn't have hot water. Some people had running water. You didn't have ice makers. I just stop. It's freaking nuts, man. How many people say, it's so much better back then? Yeah, and then we talk about healthcare too. Healthcare wasn't an issue back. Oh, yes, it was. And I hammer that as well. That's what I was working on this morning, about how idiotic people are when it comes to it's so much better back then when we all had pensions. No, we didn't all have pensions. And yeah, it might have been cheaper to buy a kilowatt hour. You might have, and I use an example of from Carrie Meyer's book, Days on the Family Farm, where Elmo, the protagonist, had to take his crew to go to the Rockford, Illinois lake that had frozen over, whatever it's called, and gather up ice to put in the ice house. You know what I'm saying? Took a day or two of labor to do that. Now I just freaking plug it in, have a water line, and I got ice for days. Does my fridge cost more? No, because I have amenities I didn't have before, which means I have more money to spend on things that make me fat. No, you don't know that. Carl doesn't know that. He says, unfortunately, I don't like these things. Most people, you don't know that. Have you surveyed most people? You haven't. I don't like this idea that most people will do that. You don't know. Maybe you, but you don't know this. And the reason I say that, and I'm so adamant about it, is because people say it all the time. They say stuff, most people this, most people that. I say, we don't know that. Because the evidence says the other way. And the other way is that 80% of the people in retirement, they've done surveys on this, are content. Now, you could argue the surveys are wrong. Okay, make that argument. I'm not going to make that argument because I think the surveys are legit. Now, we can make the argument that surveys are wrong. I would like to hear those arguments, and I can look into it for sure. Because I'm not like Fauci, where if an argument comes across my thing, it's, no, I can't hear the negatives. I got to get people jabbed. Anyway, I don't know. I don't believe that to be true. So we have enough evidence that says, hey, people are content in retirement. About 20% of the population is not. You're always, and it was literally, I'm telling you, I looked back at the BLS numbers from before. I'm going to just show you something else I'm looking at. This fun, man. I love this stuff. I love doing the research on it. I like doing the research on it more than I like writing on it, if that makes sense. So here we go back to the BLS Bulletin of Labor Statistics, 1905, Department of Labor and Commerce, 58th Congress. And we got right here. Wages and hours of labor in manufacturing industries, retail prices of food. What? Let's look it up real quick. I just freaking love this stuff because it just destroys the. And I'm not saying Carl's a naysayer. Average wages and hours of labor in 1984, 1904, 1984, 20 selected cities. Check this out. So let's look at old Cincinnati where the Reds play. They got 3 establishments. They researched 15 employees. Average hours per week 50. Average wages per hour 33 cents an hour. So they say, but the dollar bought so much more. Yeah, because you didn't make any money back then. Oh, yeah. And again, I'm not saying Carl's saying this. Here we got 54 cents of average wage per hour. They work 45 hours on the week, and they have that's in San Francisco. But who cares about San Francisco? They can kiss my big fat behind. Here's a guy, municipal work. Let's see. This is stereotypers. Here's a laborer. Oops, hold on a second. This is a street laborer. Here's Baltimore, Mass. He made 19 cents an hour, worked 48 hours. Here's Buffalo, worked 60 hours a week, made 15 cents an hour. Crazy. But it's so much better back then. Here's Atlanta, a street sweeper essentially, worked 58 hours, made 10 cents an hour. It was so much better back then. The prices were low, Josh. Don't you get it? Get out of your bubble. Here's Maine, the great state of Maine. Number of establishments, 3. Number of employees, 14. Average hours worked per week, 58. In the great state of Maine, they made 16 cents an hour, which is less than what they made in 1903. Here's Massachusetts. They made 21 cents an hour, working 56 hours a week. Edge trimmers, Goodyear stitchers, machine lasters. I mean, you can say whatever you want, but how many of these people would be able to go home and get some ice from the fridge? None of them could. They had to have freaking an ice house. How many people could go home and use electric oven? None of them could. Use a freaking a sous vide machine? None of them. You know what I'm saying? How many had gas grills? They had wood stoves to cook with. Hey, Harry, what the hell, dude? You're way late, man. We're banned, Harry. Let's ban Harry. And the point being is you're sitting there, you're comparing a completely assets, apples to oranges when you're saying it was better back. And again, not you guys, but okay, now this is not a bad point. This isn't a bad point. There has been a real wage increase. And this is what I talk about in my book. If we're only looking at wages, which is what people do, net of inflation, wages have stayed flat. You got to look at the price of goods, though. What has happened to a lot of prices of goods? They've gone down. And that's just a fact. Now, cars haven't gone down. Right? Well, we have a lot more in cars, backup cameras, heated seats, all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Houses, depending on when you bought it, has gone down. I couldn't afford this house right now. If I were to come make an offer, I couldn't afford it. So I don't think this house gone down at all. And then you got to factor in the what they do with and the funny thing is too, if you look back, this is something else I got chuckle at. Back in the old days, only 30% of the population actually owned a house, and 70% of the population were renters. And now it's almost reverse because of mortgages. And so now you have more people buying a house, and inherently going to have the prices of homes going up because there's more of a demand. I just find that funny. And given that, it's also not a bad thing either, is because now we have equity in our homes that we can use to pay for mortgage, to pay for reverse mortgage. Don't just look at it, and I think a lot of people on the right tend to do this. Because we're so, look, I was like that. Inflation, just $1. They're printing money. I'm like, okay, what's the other side of that equation? The other side of that equation, what's the cost of the goods you buy? Now, we can argue all day long, cheap foreign labor, and I'd make that argument in my book. We talk about that. In fact, you see, when you look at the research, what has happened is we used to, our personal consumption expenditures, our PCE, used to be about 60% for goods and about 40% for services. Now it's not even like that at all. Now we're spending about 20% on goods and 80% on services. And the reason for that is because we're importing these cheap goods. Just fact. So the fact that we can import these cheap goods from overseas gives us more money to spend on things we would not have otherwise needed, like me. You know what I'm saying? It's just a fact. Now we can say it's right or wrong, but the facts are we have more money because we don't need to spend as much on goods. That is just a fact, folks. It's going to be relax and retire, debunking inflation fears. Because everybody and their mom, they look at inflation as one-way street, and they should not. They should look at inflation. The reality is, you got to look at the big picture. What do I get for my buck where I used to not be able to get today? Yesterday, what do I get for it? And the facts are, now we can make an argument. We have it so good, that's why we're so fat, because our goods are all met now. Our basic needs and living are all met. Oh, Pablo. We caught you in the act. He keeps like digging into my chair. Why are you doing that? No examples of portfolios. No examples of portfolios. But even I do have an example of, can John retire? I say, John can't retire. He's a 62-year-old industrial HVAC technician who's been grinding for years and years. His body aches. He's ready to call it a career and enjoy some downtime with his better half. He goes to see a local financial advisor, we'll call Bob, to see if he can make his numbers work. John has about $600,000 in his retirement account. He wants to spend $6,000 a month to do some traveling, cover his healthcare costs, and he has no debt. He's adamant on taking Social Security early, even though it will be reduced. Between his wife and he will get about $3,000 a month on Social Security because they're taking it early. So he has a $600,000 portfolio, and he needs $3,000 a month from that, or $36,000 a year, which is a 6% distribution rate. All right. No way that's going to work. After all, how about the 4% rule, which is now the 3% rule? And hopefully the first thing old John will ask is, how are you figuring that out? And Bob, the typical financial advisor, will say, well, based on the long accepted 4% rule, and now it's actually only 3%. And John will say, what's that based on? Bob, the typical financial advisor, will say, well, John, we've done studies. Side note, he'll probably throw the term peer-reviewed out to sound sciencey and stuff. And we found that retirees historically could spend 4% a year of their portfolio each and every year adjusted for inflation, as long as they're in a 60-40 stock to bond portfolio and never run out of money. Unfortunately, with the low interest rates and the high stock valuations, new studies are actually showing the 4% rule is now 3%. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, John, but please come back when you have more money. And John would counter with the obvious, spending increases with inflation, eh? Where's the evidence of this? Now, no doubt this is a slam dunk for Bob, your typical financial advisor. He will parrot what a well-known, highly qualified financial whiz has said to me, which I challenge. Bob keeps up with the industry, and when he's challenged on spending with inflation, he'll say, John, just go stop at a gas station or a grocery store. Look at your property tax bill. And John, our hero, growing frustrated, should state incredulously, your evidence of my spending increasing with inflation over a 20 or 30-year retirement plan is based on today's prices at the gas station and the grocery store. That's your evidence? And Bob will retort a bit more cautiously, as he's not used to people challenging the narrative. Well, not just that, but I found that clients typically spend more when they retire young because they have more time on their hands and now have to pay for things like employer-sponsored health insurance that they now have to cover themselves. That's literally quotes from a guy who lit into me because I sold annuities, is what he said. So okay. Now John should drop the hammer. So your typical client spends more when they first retire. Doesn't that imply they spend less as they age? Back to Bob. Oh, well, of course, discretionary spending goes up initially because of the fun things in retirement, like traveling. But when that comes down, healthcare goes way up. See David Blanchett and Wade Fowle on the retirement spending smile. Literally, it's just cut and pasting from this email thing back and forth. The old retirement spending smile, huh? In the next chapter, we'll examine this in detail, which we just did here. The evidence of retiree spending is limited. Spending increases limited at best. When called out on this absurdity, planners will resort to all kinds of tactics. Better safe than sorry. Healthcare costs are going way up. My mom spent 10 years in a nursing home, or what this guy says to me. I bet you sell annuities. The other guy says, your clients are going to be just disappointed when they come back to you 20 years from now having run out of money. How dare you, Harry? $3,000 a month to purchase annuity. Don't you realize that's just Harry? Obviously, is a new annuity salesman. Hey, Jim. Harry's obviously an annuity salesman. He's trying to get rich off the back of poor people and their annuities. Uh-oh, there's a big old baby. Oh boy. Yep. Okay. How dare you, Harry? Don't you know inflation is going to destroy the value of that $3,000 a month? How dare you? Yeah. There you go. DeSantis. Like it. All right. I got to get ready for my homeowners thing. God bless y'all. Friday on Locals, 4 p.m. for Locals people. Locals only, baby cakes, 4 p.m. Friday. I'm going to do another video later today on modeling this for just a video. Oh, what we talked about here. Did I do that already? I don't think I did. On reverse mortgages. Did I do that in my video I did earlier? I can't remember. Anyway, so Friday at 4 p.m. And I'm thinking next week I'm interviewing this guy who quit his crappy old job to go build greenhouses for a living. This guy's crushing. Matthew's his name. And so we'll be here on Wednesday at noon to interview old Matthew on leaving his crappy old job to build greenhouses. And he's got more business he can shake a stick at. What do you think about that, Pablo? Remember, I don't know if you all saw the video I did today, but Finney knocked Pablo off the chair and Pablo was sad. He got hurt. All right. God bless. We'll see you guys.